Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is episode number 73. We are coming to you finally for episode 73. Like it's something that we've been waiting for, something special. But maybe this is something special. Maybe you've been looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to seeing you. Hello, my name is Mr. Levi Clay and I'm here with my good friend Mr. Mike McLaughlin. Mike, how's it going, bud?
All the better for seeing you, you big handsome bastard. That man with his beautiful, impeccable chin that we can now see because he's slightly less bearded, but still looking handsome, nice and slick. Yeah, I'm alright, man. As you know, ups and downs health-wise, but getting there. I've started learning how to levitate. You told me to make something up. Nothing's happened the last 5 weeks. That's the best I can come up with. How about you?
Yeah, no, to be fair, it would be the same with me. Like, what's gone on with you over the last week, Levi? I shaved my beard off in a mad panic because I felt like I needed to shave my beard off.
You completed Sekiro.
I did. I got the platinum on Sekiro today, which was I'm glad that that's finally out of the way, so I can move on to one of my other ninja games or samurai games. Fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Is that Ghost of Tsushima the other one you're going to play?
Yeah, and Neo 2. Neo 2 is probably the highest on my list because
you've been talking about this for a while. I keep forgetting. Sorry.
The first Neo was just incredible. I'm glad you noticed my beard. I have to say, I'm very glad you noticed my beard because I shaved it off while Hayley was sleeping. And I woke her up. No, sorry, she woke me up in the morning and was talking to me and didn't notice. It took a while. And I had to go, are you not going to say anything about the fact that I shaved my entire beard off? And she suddenly went, oh, shit, I didn't notice. Like, what do you mean you didn't notice? I used to look like a hobo, and now I look like a GQ model. Come on. Look at this face. Wouldn't you? You would, wouldn't you?
I've told you for years. You know I would. It goes without saying.
I know, right? That's a sign of good mental health, right? I'm feeling good about myself, right?
And being handsome,
which is nice.
Self-care is important, folks.
Yeah,
very important.
Very important. Do you know what else would make you feel really good about yourself? This show is brought to you by OMSBY Guitars. We want to thank Perry and the guys over at OMSBY for all of their support. It is very much appreciated. For those unfamiliar with OMSBY and what they do, they're wonderful guitars built by Perry out in Australia. And probably what they're most notable for in recent years is actually doing these runs of guitars that are actually built offshore and then brought into Australia for quality control and then sent on out. So if you head on over to OMSBYguitars.com and check out the pre-order section on their website, you can check out some of the upcoming runs, get involved for a very low price, and prepayment plans, payment over a series of months. Great way to get yourself a killer instrument and absolutely killer price. So as always, thank you so much for the support, guys. Check them out and let them know that we sent you. Anyway, on with the show. So as always, a massive thanks to our friends over at OMSBY. Please do go and check them out. Let them know that we sent you. Pick yourself up a nice new guitar. You deserve it. Everybody deserves it. Everyone deserves a nice guitar. Isn't that right? Doesn't everyone, Mike? Everyone should have a nice guitar.
I think the real answer to how many guitars can you have, the answer is always one more.
Yeah. No, well,
always. I mean, you're the example of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a live stream last night and I was like, okay, I need to pick up a guitar to play. And I just looked around my studio and went, I don't want to play any of these guitars. There's something else that I want and I don't know what it is. What I need to play right now isn't here. And I couldn't decide what that was. So, probably need a new guitar.
It wasn't a Gibson by any chance?
Good point, yeah. I've been meaning to, so I've been wanting to do, I plan to do a video on that thing, right? But I'm not willing to do a video on that thing until I'm able to unveil how much you paid for it. Because the title really needs to be, how good can a XXX Les Paul really be? An XXX fake Les Paul really be? But I did consider doing that, but I still need to do some setup stuff on that. But do you know what else is a really cool guitar? Let's talk about Comparison.
Yes.
Comparison have released the specs for the new Mathias 8-string. And this is probably beyond my needs, it's beyond your needs, it's beyond most people's needs. And I'm very, very surprised that they're making this because I think this is probably such a fringe product in terms of interest and application, and the price is absurd. Do you want to read the story?
I will do. I'll just say, before we go into it, I know that Comparison weren't even slightly interested in building an 8-string to start with, and I think basically Mathias just went, alright, I'll need to find somebody else to do it then. I think they were like, oh, no, wait a minute, okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
And it came out fucking cool, you can't lie, they're beautiful guitars.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, so this is Music Radar. and was posted 6 days ago. Mathias, E.I. Klund and Comparison do not believe in half measures when it comes to extended range guitars, and the latest iteration of the Swede's virtuoso Apple Horn 8 proves the point with a very fruity spec. No wonder the Japanese company are calling it the pinnacle of extreme guitar design. Oh fuck, they are going all in. The 27-inch scale Apple has a mahogany body with a walnut top, ebony fingerboard with white binding, 27 true temperament frets, DiMarzio PAF 8 in the neck position, and a DiMarzio deactivator in the bridge. Deactivator's great for low tuning, so that'll be fucking class. Is that FU or Fu-tone?
Let's go with FU tone.
FU tone tremolo with a big brass block for better note definition, heavy duty noiseless springs, and titanium string retaining blocks. There's no tone control or traditional pickup selector toggle. Instead, there's a master volume knob with two-way push-push selector switch, which is typical of Mathias.
Yeah.
That thing is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, it's very friendly. I mean, there's one thing that really bugs me about it, and that's that the neck pickup is angled, but the pickup itself isn't an angled pickup. You know,
it doesn't need to be. It's not an extreme fan,
but it's just like a minor detail that might have made the guitar a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
I don't know. I quite like it like that,
okay.
Personally. Here's a question, right? You'll know this because you own one. What are the harmonic nodes like on a guitar with two temperament frets? Do you find it like if you were playing like an artificial harmonic, it's different? Like, do you have to compensate for the fret?
Well, not really, because while the frets are offset in to some degree, the amount they're offset is just so small. Mm-hmm. When you really think about it, the actual realistic kind of harmonic node that you'd get on a guitar, it's not pinpoint accurate, you know what I mean? It's not like you need to be within this fraction of a millimeter. There's a lot of play that you can get with it, and it's more like if your finger's a little bit off, as long as you release the finger from the string fast enough, you won't kind of impede the vibration of the string. So but you know, the person to ask would definitely be Mathias, because he's the master of the harmonic, right?
I was just thinking that, like, I know he's like the most incredibly accurate, unbelievable, ridiculous control and sound when it comes to like harmonics and trem flutters and stuff, trem control of these notes. But like, I just wondered if you had personally experienced any changes in it or any difference. But I can see why there wouldn't be, because at the end of the day, it's not changing where the harmonic node sits on the actual string. It's
just reminded me that I don't own obviously a single guitar with a tremolo, so I can't demonstrate this anymore, but I can do that harmonic thing. I learned to do that harmonic thing. I remember when his first Freak Guitar Camp download package came out many years ago. I went to a local, because we didn't have internet. I was staying with a girlfriend. She didn't have any internet in the house because, you know, the 1800s. I went to a local internet cafe to download this thing, and I spent weeks and weeks just working on all these pieces to get those harmonics down. And then obviously have done nothing with them, because it's like the Steve Vai thing, right? You can't play any Mathias Eklund licks because he's so unique, and it would just be so obvious right off the bat that, you know, that's not a U lick, that's a Mathias lick. It's always going to sound really forced. But I do really enjoy his playing. Would you like to unveil the price for this guitar?
I haven't even read down to see what the price is yet, so I can unveil it for myself and probably shit my own pants.
Yeah, it's right above the video.
Okay, I'll read the rest of the quotes then. I take a humble, sincere Viking bow to my dear buddies at Comparison for making this happen, says Eklund, who has played with Freak Kitchen, Jonas Helper Trio, and Art Metal.
I love that Art Metal album.
Art Metal's a fucking great album. Is it Round Metal Hat, one of the tracks on it?
Come on.
I can't remember.
Track names.
I know. This is not just another guitar. It will take me a few years to fully understand the nature and the astonishing wide spectrum of the Apple 8 horn. I am looking forward to the ride. And yes, access to such a wide spectrum will cost you. The Comparison Apple Horn 8 is available for pre-order at $5,599 or £5,169.
Yeah, that's way off base price-wise. That is fucking way off base price-wise.
You know what, man? It's Comparison. They generally get away with that, because they're so high quality in terms of just QC and stuff, I believe.
They're not, though. They used to be. So? They used to have that reputation. But
has that changed?
They were bought out. I think they went bust, and they were bought out by someone else, and they started doing a lot of import models. It was around the time.
Is that when the C2s came out?
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So
I didn't know that. I thought that was just them expanding into another market.
No, they lost a lot of that prestige, and there were definitely some QC issues on those guitars. That's a lot of fucking money. When I look at this instrument, you know, the expensive thing on it is that True Temperament fretting system, right? And that's not just because the work of putting those in; it's licensing that has to be licensed because they don't own the True Temperament brand. But aside from that, I mean, this is a CNC'd body with a basic arm contour on it. It's an 8-string Floyd Rose, 2 8-string pickups. That's an astonishing amount of money to try to justify. I don't see it in that instrument. I really don't. I really don't. My True Temperament guitar didn't cost that much, and that is, a handcrafted, hand-shaped. It's got an Evertune in there. It's got a really fancy finish on it. It's an expensive piece of wood. This just doesn't look like any of that to me. So yeah, and I think especially when it's such a niche product, this will appeal to a very specific person. I think that is probably a little bit overpriced, but yeah, if you're a fan, check it out. You know who is a fan of Mathias?
Who?
I wanted to do a bit of a shout out to our good friend Connor.
Funny enough, I was just thinking that he was telling me that he was at the Guitar Freak Camp, or Freak Camp. Is it Freak Camp?
Freak Guitar Camp.
That's it. Sorry.
He just came back from that, and there was 2 reasons I wanted to shout him out. Actually, do you know the other reason?
I do. Because he's a handsome bastard and he looked after you.
He did look after me. I actually need to ask for your help with this one, but you'll see why in a second. So after the last podcast where I did the whole rant, and I've got a can of Cherry Coke here. It's actually still the same can, to be fair. So can of Cherry Coke there, and saying how I desperately wanted to buy this in bulk. Connor sent me an email or a Facebook message and said, I've just set this up for delivery for you. And he's having a case of 72 cans of Cherry Coke delivered to my house, which is wonderful. That's really, really kind. Connor's a top guy, and he sent me the shipping information for it, and I looked at it. It's being delivered on the 15th, between the 15th and the 21st, and we go away for a week on the 15th. So
good Lord.
Devastated. So I'll drop you a key or something, Mike, and I've got one of those Ring doorbells now, which is fantastic, like genuinely fantastic. I just got a notification while we were doing this telling me that there's motion at my front door, and I can go and look at that and see who's on my fucking driveway or whatever, and I
remember you were saying you were looking at those. That's good.
Yeah.
You're going to be really shocked on the 15th when I'm standing at your front door drinking every one of the cans and you're watching me live feed.
Fantastic.
Forcing 72 cans worth of fucking Cherry Coke down me just to upset you remotely.
I think what Connor's done there is probably the best thing that any friend could do for another friend. It's kind of like if your dad catches you smoking when you're a kid. This never happened to me because I've never smoked anything. But if your dad catches you smoking, the typical thing is, right, oh, you want to smoke, do you? Cool, let's sit you down and you can smoke 5 packs and see how much you enjoy that type of thing, and that'll put you off smoking for life, right?
You think there's ever been any badass that's just been like, sound give me 2 fucking 2 there.
Yeah.
1 up my nose, fucking 2 in my ears. I mean, just take that down.
Yeah, totally. I think that having 72 cans of Cherry Coke will do the same to me. I think by the end of getting through those, I'll never want to see another can of Cherry Coke again. So thank you.
I don't believe that for a second, because I seen how much I Am Brew 1901 you drunk.
I do like that stuff. I do. Still, every now and again I'll pick myself one of those up. So thank you very much, Connor. Very much appreciated. You're a good guy. He also was it? Yeah, I'm sure it was Connor. He sent me a photo of him watching the podcast with his family, and then they got freaked out that we were talking about him. They're like, they're talking about you on the telly. How do they know you?
Because he's handsome and world known for it.
That is true. Yeah.
He sent me a message the other day. He actually got a voice clip from Jen Majura.
Yes.
From Evanescence as well, and she's like, "Why are you not writing music?"
Yeah.
That's quite a fucking endorsement.
Yeah.
Especially when she's like, people all around the world know who you are and really like you and know you for your character and the fact that you're a really good guitarist. Why are you not writing music? I mean, that's a pat on the back.
Because it's a fool's errand writing music, right? Speak
for yourself. We make a fucking fortune.
True. Yeah.
Not.
Speaking of another bunch of fools on a fool's errand writing music, Periphery members form a pop punk band.
What a fucking segue, Levi. I love it.
I do my best.
Terrible man.
Well, I wanted
Yes.
to talk about this because the other news of someone who just did a new band is Shavo Adasian of System of a Down. But I very much now have a policy of fuck System of a Down until they release new music. We're not giving you all the attention and the press and begging you to release new music, right? As far as I'm concerned, you're all fucking dead to me until you can pull your fingers out your asses, sit down in a room and make an album again, okay? I'm not interested in all this, oh, well, we tried, and oh, well, this, that and the other, and oh, you're one step away from being fucking Corey Taylor, right? I'm not fucking interested in anything that you ever have to say or release again unless it's System of a Down putting an album out. Okay? There you go, Shavo. Take that. Shavo that one up your ass. Carry on, Mike.
That was like a 2 minute condensed rage time. That was beautiful.
On that note, right, everyone, I have had a few people message me about this, but they're like, why do you not do Rage Time videos anymore? And I don't do Rage Time videos anymore because I want this podcast to be that. The whole point of this is that we both get to rage about things, and it just feels silly to be doing them on top, because I mean, sure, I'm trying to be animated and be funny, but like, I don't want people to know me as just that. Like, oh yeah, we'll love going to his YouTube channel to see him fucking shouting about shit. If you want to see me shouting about shit, listen to the podcast. So yeah, again, one more time, shavo that up your ass. Carry on, Mike.
Yes. So, rather, in my opinion, cringily, right, but probably not. I'm a fucking elitist snob bastard. Spencer and Matt Halpern, Spencer Sotelo and Matt Halpern, both from Periphery, have started a pop-punk band called King Mothership, and they have Ty Wright, the bassist from Slaves, playing on the project as well. There's a full album coming out called The Ritual,
and of course it's on
October.
3 Dot Recordings.
Why would it not
That's
be?
That's the beauty of owning your own record label, right?
100%. I mean, it's just smart business in that sense, at least. I had a quick listen. It is definitely not my cuppa, but I would be lying if I said that I have an extensive knowledge of pop punk and that genre of music in general. I'm clueless, but that'll be interesting to hear more of whether it's good or no. For the track I heard, Cosmic Meltdown, that's a single out. Not for me. Yeah, that's me being polite. Not for me.
It's one of those things, like, you've got your own record label now, so you can put this stuff out, and you've got the brand name around any of those band members. If Spencer Sotelo is involved, people will buy it. If Matt Halpern's involved, people will buy it. The only member of the band that doesn't seem to have that anymore is Mark Holcomb, right?
I mean, yes, and of his own volition.
Yeah. Oh no,
silly man, played with fire, burnt his fingers.
Yeah, which is funny actually, because my favourite kind of non-periphery related project was the one he was in with Misha, which is Haunted Shores. Yeah, Haunted Shores.
Yep. That's where the song on the last album came from. What one is it? Fucking... That's annoying as fuck. I'm going to find the song title.
There's some good tracks on that.
Hail stands alright, aye.
Harrison Fjord is the one that I...
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Because I remember hearing that demo with no vocals on it, and then I think Chris Sotelo done vocals on it. Not Chris Sotelo, I'm talking shite. Chris Barretto, sorry. Yep. Did vocals over it originally, right. I believe. That reminds me of like Final Fantasy VII music, because I remember Haunted Shores also did the Bomba fanfare. Yeah,
I enjoyed that record so much that I actually bought the tab book for it from She Happens, and spent some time learning some of that stuff because I thought it was quite cool. But yeah, let's do a little bit of industry inside stuff on Mark Holcomb, because, well, you know, while it's widely acknowledged that Mark Holcomb is a bit of a douchebag and has a bit of an ego issue, you know, with complain. Oh, okay. So there was a post on Facebook where he messaged a random person about them being a moderator on a shitpost group.
That's right. It was on the gent shit posting, and he was also in some sort of fucking Matt Halpern adultery posting page or something. It was called, wasn't it? I remember seeing this.
Yeah. So Mark Holcomb threw his toys out of the pram about that, but the guy had no idea what he was talking about. He was like, "I'm not a moderator for any pages. Like, literally, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about, mate." And then Mark did his typical fucking, throws his toys out of the pram and then blocks the guy type thing. And it's like, you've got to be better than that if you're if you're in the public eye. Like, you have made yourself a meme, sir. You have absolutely made yourself a meme.
I think not even talking about being in the public eye. Like, if you are committed enough to deceiving two people, so you're in a relationship with both of them, surely you should have the backbone to go, fuck, I get caught. Well, it's not exactly a good thing I done. I just need to get on with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you've got the balls to do that, then surely you will, or you would, by nature, have the balls to take it in the chin and move on. But it just doesn't seem that way. It seems it's like there's like this everlasting petulance.
Yeah.
No, leave me alone. I'm the victim too. You know,
he's really doing the whole like, I can't believe that these shitposting groups won't stop talking about me. Hang on a minute, motherfucker. Didn't you out your entire affair and tell everybody about it in the gent shitposting group? That was where you made the post, owning up to everything you'd done. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I think in this situation, Yvette Young is often given a bit of a free pass. And while I'm not saying that she's to blame for the situation that befell her, some of the ways she's been dealing with people post this need to be drawn attention to, right? So I was speaking to a guy recently. Many of you that are listening to this podcast will have seen this video. There was an old video on YouTube a long time before that affair came out, and it was the video of Yvette and Mark learning each other's things at Reverb, right? And someone did a meme cut of the video where they tried to edit it in a way that implied a sort of sexual chemistry between the two of them, right? And it was quite a stupid and funny video, and of course at the time no one really knew that was actually a thing, right? So just recently, Mark has been in touch with that guy and said that you need to take this video down. You know, our poor families are our poor families, etc. And the guy laughed and said, "No, I absolutely don't. Right? This is clear fucking fair use. There's no issue here. You know, you might be salty about it, but you know, make better life choices type thing." Then Yvette didn't get in touch with the guy. Yvette had her management file a DMCA takedown notification on it. And that's bad. That's just outright bad, because there's no copyright claim to be made on this video, right? First of all, you don't own the video. Even if he just re-uploaded the video, you don't own that video. Reverb owns that video, so you've got no business filing a takedown notification on that. And I can't think of anything worse than people that file false DMCA notifications. It's a shitty thing to do. When the guy approached Yvette and said, "What are you doing? Like, why have you done this? You can't do that." At first she did the whole, you talk to my management did it, talk to my management. Okay, cool. Again, your management can't do this. After that she did the my mental health. And I'm sorry, mental health is something that we talk about often on the podcast because it's something that you and I both struggle with. We like to talk about mental health because we want people to be aware of the fact that mental health issues are very widespread, and it's okay to suffer from mental health problems, and it's okay to talk, it's okay to open up and reach out to people and help yourself get better. But it's never ever okay to use your mental health as an excuse for shitty behaviour, you know? Or at least that's how I feel about it. And this isn't just shitty behaviour, this is, I'm sorry, this is illegal behaviour. Like filing a false DMCA notification is illegal. Yeah? And in this world of online content creation, that is one of the big no-nos that we all just accept. You don't fucking do it. It's a shitty thing to do. If you work in the creative arts, you have to respect other people that work in the creative arts. And this isn't someone that's just stealing your content. This is somebody that's just made a meme video, right? Bands like this survive based on this kind of meme culture. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Because I didn't know of this scenario until you told me about it, it's pretty crazy. I don't see how an artist, like a genuine artist, someone who's out grafting, trying to make money and a career from playing guitar and writing music, would think that filing a fake or a
false DMCA.
A false DMCA, that's the word I was looking for, would ever be an appropriate thing to do without totally undermining their own integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't get it. I completely sympathise that this is, especially considering, as you say, it came out in the giant shitposting group, how this all happened, that this is going to be a hot topic for a long time. Periphery being the hottest band of that genre, it's going to happen. And the fact it's been completely public, really weirdly fly in the wall style, everybody's involved, that it must be really hard for the two of them to not get caught up in seeing their own business online and reconciling that there's nothing I can do about it. I just need to let it lie and it'll eventually go away.
Yeah.
But it's never going to go away if you continue to do shitty things and people then question them as people. You know what I mean? Like their integrity, their ethics, their standpoint, the actual dynamics of what happened, again, not throwing any shade or saying anything different from what actually happened, because I wasn't there, I'm not witness of it. But it's a really quick way to make people doubt you.
Yep.
To throw that kind of unethical spanner in the works, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the two of them need to grow up. I know that sounds really horrible and maybe a bit frank, but it's happened. I know it's definitely not as easy as just, oh, it happened to you to move on, but there comes a time and a point where you need to stop talking about it yourself if you want it to die down.
Yeah. And this video wasn't made after your affair came out. You know, this was made a long time before. It was a fucking meme video, and when you're spending your time looking online for things like that and then speaking to your management about taking them down, it's a poor use of your time. And you know, speaking from a legal perspective, not being a lawyer, it's worth pointing out, you know, the catchphrase, I'm not a lawyer. But as I always say, I watch a lot of legal content on YouTube. I take an interest in that side of things. And of course, there was the big H3H3 versus Mathias lawsuit, which H3H3 won because they made commentary videos on some of Mathias's stuff, and it was deemed by courts as being fair use. We have another example of that that's just happened, probably even bigger and even more important example. And the reason I say bigger and more important is because it highlights that regardless of your political opinion, the law needs to be applied equally, right? And it doesn't matter if you think the person doing bad things is a good person. If they're doing a bad thing, they're still doing a bad thing. Like, yes. I'm more than happy to say I don't like Carl Benjamin. I don't like Sargon of Akkad. It annoys me when people call me Sargon of Guitar. It annoys me when people call me Guitargon of Akkad. Like, sure, right?
People have called you these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only met him once, but I didn't spend any time talking to him because people are like, oh, that's so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't know why people know him, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Because clearly, if I don't know by now, it doesn't align with whatever I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And not in the sense that I would like to have a conversation and challenge those viewpoints and think there'd be anything to come from it.
Sure.
It's either going to be an argument or a falling out, and fuck that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But he had he was sued by Aquila Hughes, or known online as Aquila, obviously, because she did a video after the Hillary Clinton lost the election, and she did a video saying we thought she would win, and just like this 15-minute video of her covering the night because she was there when it happened, when they found out, etc. So Sargon took clips from that, re-uploaded those clips, and retitled it and said it was called SJW Self-Awareness. And it's clearly like two political side type things. She deemed that not fair use. So she sued him. She sued him over it. She's tried to sue him for
I remember seeing the video for it. Was it 10 million or something?
What?
That's what she tried to sue him for? Was it 10 million?
No, it was
settlement of damage or something?
It was 150,000 she was trying to sue him for.
Okay.
Which is...
Was there a video of her in her living room talking about it and just being like, I don't give a fuck, I'm here to do it and whatever else?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, like what do I say to people that say, you know, he's got a family? Like, I don't give a care. I don't give a shit. They're not my kids. Like, if he doesn't want food taken out of his kids' mouths, like, don't do shit like this type thing. It's
jokes on her, I'm assuming?
It's astonishing enough to establish that making a video like that and someone taking some of that content to criticize you, and it's clearly a criticism of your political ideology, to do something like that and then go, well, I've lost there's $150,000 of loss because somebody used that video. Like, even if that video didn't exist, your video was never making $150,000, let alone having his video taken away that revenue from it. That's astonishing. She lost that case, of course, and it was deemed by the judge to be clear, and a clear example of fair use, because although there wasn't any verbal commentary, it was very, very fucking clear from the video title that this is someone criticizing your ideas. They are taking your content and titling it based on how your video showcases how socially unaware you are. Criticizing you, fine, cool. Again, don't like the guy, but fine, whatever. So she lost that. Very, very, very uncommon for the US law system, though. Sargon's just been awarded costs from her, right? Because the judge deemed it to be that frivolous a lawsuit that you're absolutely on the hook for his costs. So outside of having to pay all of her lawyers to chase someone for all of this money, it was also deemed to be a malicious lawsuit because she had bragged.
It was?
Yeah, she'd bragged on Twitter about how she's gonna bankrupt him. She used it as a campaign to get him booted off of Patreon. She did get him booted off of Patreon, tried to get him booted off of Facebook, tried to get him booted off of Twitter. Constantly refers to him just as nothing other than white supremacist. Like she's just going out of her way to try and wreck a man because ultimately has a different political opinion to her, which is just a shitty thing to do. And yeah, the judge had looked at all of this and said, "This you've clearly tried to use this lawsuit for to boost your own career. You've used this to try and boost your own relevance, and that's so unbelievably malicious. And it doesn't matter that Sargon crowdfunded his lawsuit, so all of his costs were covered. It doesn't matter that his crowdfund made double whatever his fees were. It doesn't matter that he's still got money left over from that. That doesn't mean that you're not on the hook for those costs. So she's now also got to pay him $40,000 as well, which is just...
Good God.
Yeah, which is a lot of fucking money. That is.
I hope that's not taking food out of her mouth. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. They're not my kids.
You know what I mean? Going to be so shitty. Don't do that then. But that is poetic justice that she would go on record and say these things.
Yeah.
And fuck her own self over.
And rather than learning from this and going, okay, the highest court, the court of the land, has told me that I filed a malicious suit and has now told me that I owe this person money, rather than going, okay, cool, maybe I need to just reconsider my position, she continues to do that childlike thing where she's going off on all these rants on Twitter. She's even trying to dox the judge. Like, that's not going to fucking end well for you, you fucking idiot. And the problem with what we're doing now, Mike, is if you voiced the opinions that you'd had, you will now be branded a white supremacist because you can't possibly agree, oh, she's black. You can't possibly disagree with her for any reason other than she's black. And that's not the reason I'm disagreeing. I just take copyright.
She's disagreeing with me because I'm ginger.
Copyright and fair use is really fucking important. We might not like it, but it's the world that we live in now. There's this kind of remix culture to content creation. It's just how things fucking go, and understanding and respecting the rights of content creators, but also understanding and respecting the rights of people that use your content to then go on and do other things that don't take away from your original piece of work, but expand upon it, do new things. That's really important. So we went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to really make this point clear. Yvette Young, fucking up your game, hen. Like, you're supposed to be the good guy in this situation. You're supposed to be the one that in this situation is the victim. You're supposed to be the one that everyone can rally around and go, Yvette Young deserves better. You do deserve better than what happened to you, but your fans, the community, the people that video was never made maliciously. That video was never made to make fun of you. That video was made to just kind of poke fun at a situation, like to make something that wasn't there appear as though it was there. It wasn't the guy's fault that situation actually was there, was it? Be fucking better. Just be better. Let's move on.
Maybe even one of these situations where asking politely would have got it taken down just out of respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And so I had a similar thing happen. Yeah, the Peter Farrell situation, the George Benson, hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of pounds books.
You mean the guy that's better than George Benson and can play stuff and teach you stuff better than George? He knows him inside out.
There's a hilarious update on that you probably missed.
I've seen this. No, I've seen it. Okay. Somebody got in touch with him and synced like over the top of the actual George Benson audio, and then sent it to Peter Farrell, and he's like, nah, you've got the picking wrong and the articulation's terrible and whatever else.
Yeah, the sound will be better if you learn the way he does his staccato. And it's like, dude, I'm literally miming over George Benson. Like, there's no audio of me there. That's literally just George Benson you're listening to. And yet still you will turn around and say that I can sell you the solution to how to sound more like George. You are a fucking scumbag. You would literally sell the George Benson method to George Benson if it would make you a fucking dollar, which is fucking abhorrent. $200. So I got an update on this. $200 for an ebook. $200 fucking dollars for an ebook
for a fucking PDF file.
The guy's off his fucking rocker. And when I pointed this out to him, when I pointed out that you've clearly been fucking caught out here, your kind of own arrogance and ego and greed has taken over your worldview so significantly that when you hear someone actually sounding identical to George Benson, because it is George Benson, rather than responding with, spot on, mate, this sounds excellent, your need to take money, your need to monetize the thing that you do, your need to earn profit over educational values doesn't allow you to say that. You have to be able to criticize it, and you have to be able to try and get them to buy something from you. You have lost the reason that you started teaching in the first place. You are a parasite. And when I pointed this out to him, he tried to say, well, I'm not talking about the sound, I'm talking about the way it looks. And I'm like, highlighting to this guy, are you joking? Every comment that you made was about the way he sounds. You weren't saying, oh, your picking hand doesn't look right. You said, if you do this, you'll sound more like George. So even then, though, imagine listening to someone that sounds identical to someone and going, yeah, well, you sound spot on, but it doesn't look right. Like, no one fucking cares. No one cares in the slightest. You just need to sound right. And this sounded absolutely spot on, right? And the reason this is so funny is because I've got all the messages. He sent them to me. That I won't name the guy that put that post up. But he sent me all the Instagram messages between him and Peter Farrell. Peter Farrell begged him to take that post down, begged him to take the posts down. And of course he did.
Doesn't.
No, he did, because the guy in question, he is a nice guy. He's a really nice guy, very talented guy. He took them down because Peter begged him to. And the reason Peter begged him to is because it doesn't matter how much bravado he puts in there and how much he tries to throw shade at me and say, you know, you're just a nobody, go cry to your mum, a little bitch boy, right? No, behind closed doors.
Does he say things to you?
Yeah. Behind closed doors, you are actually crying to the people going, please take this down. Please take this down, sir, please. But this could really damage my reputation. Please take it down. It would damage your reputation because you're a fucking charlatan. Should we move on again? I'm having a rage day. It's great.
I'm loving this, Like, if you want to see Rage Time, listen to the podcast and you've just spent 30 minutes literally shouting about things.
I know.
Fucking tremendous. Right, let's get some good shouting going on then.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've got three little stories.
We're not talking
here.
about fucking...
We're talking about
Shavel,
new album releases. So new music. So there's three artists here that we can briefly talk about new music that's coming out.
Will we talk about the one that you had a question about the integrity of it?
Yeah. I think we're probably on the same page with this one.
Oh, okay. Well, Linkin Park are teasing a secret project with a website redesign. This was today. It was published actually on Loudwire. Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda recently teased that the band had a plan to celebrate the 20th anniversary of their Hybrid Theory album, and it appears that is starting with a website redesign. By visiting linkinpark.com, you'll notice a very retro look to the website, taking it back to the infancy stages of band websites. A number of old school styled icons grace the screen, the most significant of which is their mail client, which finds some of the band members tipping what is afoot. It doesn't really look like a basic website design at all. It looks like a desktop.
Yeah, it does.
But we'll avoid that, right? We'll not split hairs. Hey guys, I'm starting to go through old gear to see what I can dig up for the secret project we spoke about, hoping I can find some good stuff in there. Still working on getting the old band computer figured out also, and copying the email on the computer so whoever is in there helping can stay up to date. More soon, writes Mike Shinoda. While drummer Rob Borton follows, great, my mom has boxes of stuff as well. I'm going to start sorting through that. A third email is simply bassist Dave Phoenix Farrell in a hot tub with a rubber ducky with the message, squeak, squeak.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to look into the camera and say, I don't care. I don't care. I had Hybrid Theory on earlier in the week, last weekend, and really enjoyed it, right? Chester's gone, and you're either going to release old demos that involve him, and they'll never be as good as the studio recordings, or else you would have just released them, or you're going to try and do something that doesn't involve him, and again, I don't care. Because his voice is the sound of that band.
Well, I mean, I've got a feeling that potentially, because the band used to be called, according to this, Hybrid Theory before they moved to Linkin Park, and that's where the album name came from. There's every chance they've got some demos and they've got the stems, and it all sounds good, but hasn't been mixed and mastered, obviously, to anywhere near the level of Hybrid Theory and Reanimation and Meteora. So it might be something cool like that. It might be. You might even find that it's actually quite respectful to Chester's memory. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, there's the potential, but also, like, you guys hadn't released anything in quite a while. You could have released these prior to Chester killing himself. The fact that you're doing it now just feels like you're capitalising on the fact that he's dead.
I don't know as much. It's not as if they're like It's not the fucking Dimebag Darrell Rockin' Rita scenario where Dime amplification comes out of nowhere and here's this prototype guitar that Dime played maybe once and here's 95 different models of that and we're going to do this one that he never played. And
or remember Nickelback Side of a Bullet, that there's a Dimebag Darrell solo one that was released after he died, and the song is literally about hunting down Dimebag's killer, and I scratched your name on the side of a bullet.
I mean,
again,
stupid.
Kind of. Well, it is. I guess that is a tribute to the person, but still, yeah. Just like this, just feels a bit capitalisy to me. Like,
we'll need to wait and see.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I'll check out whatever happens, of course, but yeah, not. I mean, I'm more interested in the other things. So yeah,
I was just going to say, even more interestingly, Marty Friedman announces his new album is really close to being done. I haven't really got anything to report as for when and where it's going to get released, the guitarist said. So
we don't even really need to go into the details of this. I just think that fact that Marty Friedman announces a new album is really close to being done is enough information for people. Speaking personally on this, like, I've never been into Marty's solo music, even the Shrapnel stuff he did, Dragon's Kiss and stuff like that. It never really spoke to me. So
does Cacophony fall under that? Because if it does, you and I are done.
No, because that isn't the solo stuff, is it? That's a band. That's him with a band. I always like Marty in a band.
I just meant maybe you meant outside of Megadeth.
No. I like the Cacophony stuff more than the Megadeth stuff because that's what I grew up on. But way before I was listening to Megadeth, I was listening to Cacophony. Yeah. So
look at you flexing.
Well, if anything,
guitar nerd.
No, if anything, it's the opposite of flexing. It's drawing attention to my ignorance. There are all these bands that I didn't listen to until much later on in life. Because I'd rather be going, I don't want to listen to these big popular bands. Let me spend my time listening to these niche bands that nobody's heard of. Which is that really pretentious. That's a very metal thing, isn't it?
Aye. I've only ever heard one Radiohead album.
Right.
And that's for that reason as well. It's like everybody talks about them too much and the expectations I have are too high.
Yeah. That
if I go into this and it's even slightly not what I'm into, I'm going to be like, nope, you're all toxic. Just because I'm an asshole.
Yeah. But still, anyway, there will definitely be people out there that are excited that Marty Friedman has a new record coming out.
Absolutely.
So we thought we'd draw attention to that, and it's always nice to see one of the, because he is a legend. There's no avoiding that. He's a massively influential legend of metal and instrumental guitar. So
who is he endorsed by now? Because every time I see a new video of him, which might be weekly, he's got a Jackson, then he had his PRS, and then he had.
He seems to be playing a Fender in this clip.
Which is weird.
Is that a Fender though?
It is. I'm sure he was playing a Fender. There's a video of him working on a solo for the record, and I've seen the same solo a few times, but him doing a couple of different takes as if he's been working on it to just get it the way he really wants it.
Yeah.
In one of the videos, I'm certain he was playing like that, might be that Telecaster,
yep.
but a Fender of some kind, and I'm like, okay. I remember from when they were talking, it was Megadeth, when Marty was still in the band. I think it was when they were recording Countdown to Extinction.
Mm-hmm.
Marty's talking about like he's got all these cool guitars that look great, like the Kelly and whatever else, and he's like, and on the album I used this Strat that looked like it was basically like a fucking coffee table. It was the most bland guitar ever, but it just worked perfect for the clean tones I was after.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's not too surprising.
The other one, and I don't know if you've listened to this yet, is John Petrucci's Terminal Velocity solo single is streaming. So I've not listened to it, and that's a deliberate choice, and it annoys me because I'm seeing like friends of the show like Justin has released a cover of the entire song the day after it went out. I really want to listen to it, and I'm hearing really good things about it, but I'm holding off. I'm on the day the album comes out, I'm going to do a listening party of the whole album and get a genuine like first reaction type thing, because I've done a fair few of those listening parties, but the best one was the first one I did, which was the Ozzy Osbourne Ordinary Man. That day that came out, I that was the first ever listening party. I was like, okay, let's listen to this album and have a genuine first listen to this. I want to do the exact same with the Petrucci album. I want to go into it with a clear, open mind, not have it tainted by anyone, and just genuinely get a feel for what the album's about, because I'm interested.
We'll come back to you talking about getting a feel, because that's a good segue, but all I was going to say on this is, like, I've never really found myself able to get into Dream Theater or Portnoy stuff, Petrucci stuff, just for no other reason than I've never really took a deep dive into like prog stuff. There are a few Dream Theater songs that I really like, and I like because of the composition of them's fantastic on every instrument. Even James Labrie sounds good on the tracks that I'm into, which is A Change of Seasons. I knew a lot of that song.
Well, we know you've definitely not heard any Dream Theater then, because being a massive Dream Theater fan, I don't think there's any songs that James Labrie sounds good on.
My favourite one that he's on is when they've done a cover of Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
That's the best vocal performance I've ever seen.
Play, grumbling away.
The best bit is like he sings in his own, almost his own language, just a rhyme without a reason. Essentially, is what comes out, and you're like, what is going on here? What was the other one? I think it was when Marcos Fogley was playing. We made whatever that fucking song is.
Long time since I've heard any of that stuff, to be honest.
But there's a couple of videos of him trying to do it, and he just doesn't. I mean, no disrespect to him, because the very fact that he could do it to start with, fuck me, that's an impressive bit of power and range.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes you see things and you're like, oh.
I've always felt that with James, it's like you can have all the power and the range in the world. You don't have the tone. You just don't have the sound. That's me down to a nutshell. I could sing, I can record, and I can get the right take where I record, like get my vocals perfectly in tune, right? But it doesn't matter because my voice doesn't sound great. It's not a lead vocal. It's a soft. I've got a fat voice. I always describe it as a fat voice. I've got a pad for a voice. Great for backing vocals, but I'm just not a lead vocalist. It just doesn't work for me. And there's something about the tone of James's voice. He can sing perfect notes, and it just doesn't do anything for me. So
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're saying. He's not my favourite vocalist by any matter of means.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise I probably would be into Dream Theater a bit more. I just again, great segue to the next topic. I just feel as if a lot of the time it's way more about the substance than it is the style.
So I'm going to be,
you know what I mean?
I'm going to be a massive cock tease on this one. So this episode is going up late for anyone that has noticed. We've had scheduling conflicts, but also I'm going away on holiday next Saturday, and I'm away for a week. I don't want you to be without podcasts. So during the week, we're going to record a double episode type thing. So there'll be stuff for you to get uploaded.
Don't say we don't love you.
We love you very much. One of those episodes, we are going to focus on this next story, which will be theory versus feel.
Oh.
Yeah. Because we've been doing this for an hour now. So theory versus feel. Can music theory ruin creativity? Rockstars weigh in. So a basic rundown of what we're going to be doing in that episode is we are going to read through these quotes from lots of famous musicians where they talk about music theory and how important or not important music theory is to things, and then we're going to talk about our own takes on music theory, because I obviously know a fair amount of music theory. I'm actually filming a series of YouTube for YouTube at the moment, kind of breaking down the things that are important in music theory that often never get covered, especially in good music theory books. And Mike is the complete opposite. Mike has an incredible ear and just is like, would it be fair to say you're the definition of musically illiterate? You can communicate, you can speak, you can hear, you can imitate, you can speak. Your mouth works, but when it comes to writing things down or reading things or really understanding the inner workings of things, like, it's just not there. And
if you put a score of music up, I would be like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I think I'm not getting it. Tabs, I can nearly sight read tab at this point, and doing that with Partican and stuff's ridiculous. I don't. It's not that I'm music or like theoretically illiterate and I'm musically illiterate in that sense, but I definitely let myself down that when I was at high school and I was studying music, I didn't want to take it further because I didn't want something that I enjoyed as a hobby to become like a lifestyle and to fall out of love with it. But also, I'm a lazy bastard, so it was more like, nah, I'm going to enjoy playing guitar the rock and roll way. As stupid and cringy as that might sound, it was like almost a conscious effort of, I'll learn enough, and if I can play the stuff I want to play, I don't really plan on having like a career in sense of being like a teacher or needing theory, but I'll just keep playing guitar because I enjoy it.
Yeah, so. And you're so musically competent that the musical illiteracy just doesn't matter, and I think that makes for a really interesting discussion. And you know this from me sitting down with you I certainly remember being sat in Bankery Road, but it's also happened here. We did it with some of the Paul Gilbert stuff. You can just pick up a guitar and strum the chords to a song that you haven't heard in 10 years. You just think of the song and you don't have to. I have to find chords, I have to go, oh, what is that next chord? And I spend time trying to work out what that chord is. And you've just got this unbelievable musical competency where you can just do it. And I think that it makes for a really interesting discussion, because I think that the way that you develop skills like that is by doing the thing that we're talking about now. You have spent so much time learning to play songs. You have spent so much time learning to do all of the things that are important musically, that need to do things that aren't as automatic, like the deep theory stuff, the learning to read and all of that type of shit. It's just not something that's ever been really necessary for you. So you've developed super skills in other areas. Like I can turn around and go, well, yeah, I'm a really good reader, but give me 2 minutes while I work out what this chord progression is. Like, and wouldn't you rather be the person that goes, well, I can't really read anything, but I just heard a thing and let me play it.
I'm quite lucky that way, to be honest, and that's through like an almost OCD compulsive brain from when I was younger. I apologise, my camera's randomly stopped working. I can't get it to come back on. Okay. So, oh well, fuck it. You're going to have a mystery of whether I'm actually here or not.
Well, no, Mike. This show has been brought to you by OMSBY Guitars. If you are unfamiliar with OMSBY and what they do, I would recommend you head on over to OMSBYguitars.com. Absolutely wonderful instruments made out of Australia by Perry Ormsby. They focus on a lot of really interesting things, probably most notably the multi-scale thing. You can see a couple of them hanging behind my head. I am a big fan of the Goliath series. Having said that, I've also almost ordered myself a Hype over the years, and I think the thing that OMSBY do that, well, lots of companies have dabbled in, but they do a great job of it, is these runs of builds. You can go on their website now, check out the pre-order section of their website, and you will see a series of upcoming runs of guitar. You can get in on those with prepayment plans and really get yourself a nice, well-built instrument for an unbelievable price. So thanks to OMSBY Guitars for supporting the show. Go and check them out and let them know that we sent you. Thanks very much. And there we have it. Another episode comes to an end. So hope you guys enjoyed that and that you're looking forward to our upcoming Theory versus Feel episode that will be coming to you towards the end of the week. I should probably not really commit to the day. I could, but, I don't know when this one's going up, right?
Let's see where it lands, eh? It's going to be a good conversation. I'm really looking forward to it, especially reading through the quotes of people are either incredibly well versed or people you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll have fun with that and we'll have a good chat about it too.
I've been trying to come up with some ideas for other little segments that we could run. But you mind how the listening parties were a pain? Not a pain, but like, having to dedicate us time to sit down and listen to an album can sometimes be hard. I came up with another idea that I thought would be quite fun, but it would require a little bit of time. I really like the idea of writing rap battles. Like, if I had to write a few little verses of why Metallica are the best thrash metal band of all time, and then you had to write a few little verses as to why Megadeth were clearly better, that could be some goofy fun. But it's stupid ideas, and really, like, we're always looking for new ideas of little fun little segments that we can do. So viewers, you wonderful people, if you have any ideas of things that you think could be funny, let us know. We've been toying with the idea of doing some karaoke type stuff where we sing melodies and try and guess, but it's trying to work out the ways that these would work as really sort of entertaining segments, other than just ideas that we haven't really put any thought into the execution of.
We better watch we don't get DCMA takedowns for singing somebody else's music.
Just don't sing any of Yvette Young and you'll be fine.
I was more talking about the other person you were talking about that sued Sargon, but both work.
Well, she doesn't do music, so fuck her, and she has no idea who I am, so how would she? She blocked me because I suggested she listens to the opinions of other actual YouTube lawyers,
other people,
liberals that are lawyers that are still like, look, I don't like the guy, but what he did was legal type thing.
Look, see that. There's no point even trying to address that. If someone thinks the person that they're paying money to, quite a lot of money to represent them, has their best interest at heart, it's not always the case. Especially not when other people are saying, listen, this is frivolous. Yeah. Nah, I'm going to believe the guy that I'm paying $220 an hour on retainer for.
Oh, mate, You'd be lucky $220 an hour from looking at.
I don't know.
Yes, Sargon's lawyer was $600 an hour. It's just an astonishing amount of money, and the court deemed that a perfectly reasonable amount. They said that we'd expect it to be somewhere around $750 an hour for a high quality copyright lawyer. So $600 an hour is perfectly reasonable. So there's only one person that wins when it comes to lawsuits, right?
The rich one. Or the lawyers?
The lawyers, yeah. The lawyers.
Aye, fair enough.
So one more time, big thank you to our friends over at OMSBY. Big thank you to you guys for watching us. Please do go and let them know that we sent you. Check out our t-shirts, link in the description, wherever you happen to be listening to or watching this. Or you can just find us by looking for Guitar Souls on Teespring. Mike, until next time.
Bye, fuckers.